Well, the high-pitched battle between U.S. President Donald Trump and the prestigious Harvard University has reached a crescendo. In the latest, the university has sued Trump for freezing federal grants worth billions of dollars and what it said was arbitrary and unlawful. It all started when last week Harvard rejected a list of demands that the Trump administration had put forth, claiming that it would undermine its independence. In a lawsuit filed in federal court in Boston, Harvard University said that it seeks to halt a federal freeze on more than $2.2 billion in grants, which was put into effect after the institution said it would not conform to the Trump administration's demands to limit activism on campus. Earlier this month, in a letter sent to Harvard, the Trump administration had called for broad government and leadership reforms at the university, as well as changes to its admission policies. Not just that, it also demanded that the university audit views of diversity on campus and also stop recognizing some student clubs. In response to all these demands, Harvard president said that the university would not bend to the government's demands. And what happened hours later is anybody's guess. The government froze billions of dollars in federal funding. This is huge, as the money from the federal government is being used for cutting-edge research conducted in the university in areas of science, medicine, and engineering. In 2023, almost $150 million a year came from federal agencies to Harvard, including the intelligence community, NASA, and the Department of Housing and Urban Development. This essentially means that despite the fact that Harvard makes a chunk of money from research grants, donations, and tuition fees every year, it is reliant upon the federal government as well for funding some of its major programs. And the freezing of funds directly impact all these areas. Besides threatening to strip the university of its tax-exempt status, Trump has also threatened to roll back enrollment of foreign students. The Trump administration says that the actions are against anti-Semitism and also ideological bias. It is pointing out to the demonstrations which took place at these universities. Well, Harvard is America's oldest institution of higher education, arguably its wealthiest too. And as Harvard and Trump face off in one of the most high-stakes legal battles in recent times, who wins and who loses? That we'll have to wait and watch. A pontiff lies in state. Tributes pour in from every corner of the globe as the world mourns Pope Francis. But even as grief grips the faithful, eyes turn to the Sistine Chapel, where the procedure of electing his successor begins. The question being, could the next Pope hail from Asia, marking a historic shift for the Catholic Church? Our next report telling you more.
Bells toll across Rome. Candles flicker in St. Peter's. Pope Francis lies in his casket. Catholics around the world are mourning. Flags are at half-mast as nations pay their respect. Iconic monuments around the world light up in memory of Pope. Vigils held in churches around the world. Amidst the mourning, the world's oldest religious conclave prepares to make its most consequential decision. Who will wear the white robe next? As per tradition, the College of Cardinals, limited to 120 voting members under age 80, will enter the Sistine Chapel, cut off from the world, and begin the sacred ritual of papal election. Voting will commence no less than 15 and no more than 20 days after the Pope's passing. Black smoke will signal a stalemate. White smoke announces the election of the Pope. Among those casting ballots will be 4 Indian cardinals, Oswald Gracious, George Alancherry, Anthony Pula, and Baselios Klimas, underscoring Asia's rising influence in the Catholic hierarchy. The question is now gaining traction. Will Asia finally see one of its own become Pope? Leading that possibility is Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle of the Philippines, a charismatic, multilingual figure often dubbed the Asian Francis for his humility, compassion, and alignment with the late Pope's progressive vision. His experience in the Vatican and his deep understanding of global issues position him as a formidable contender. Faithful around the world hope that the next Pope will hold on to Francis's ideals.
We really hope that the person who will succeed him will be someone who would hold his same ideals, because I think he achieved a great unification of the Catholic Church. We saw that in Latin America, and so we hope for him to be someone with similar ideals.
I hope that his successor will be a little more liberal than the Pope, and that will be difficult. There will be a lot of infighting now, because I assume that the Church in Africa and Asia will now also assert its influence and say, it's our turn. And when they come, I think they will be extremely conservative.
The legacy of Pope Francis to us is not to take things seriously. Well, not to stay on a pedestal. Come down, be human, and get closer to the people. That's the big legacy of Pope Francis.
That's the big legacy of Pope Francis.
88 years old Pope Francis died on Monday after suffering a stroke and cardiac arrest. He repeatedly clashed with traditionalists and championed the poor and marginalized. On Saturday, Pope's funeral service will be held in St. Peter's Square. As Catholics worldwide mourned Francis, all cardinals in Rome are summoned to a meeting to decide on the sequencing of events in the coming days. Cardinal Jean-Marc Aveline of France, Cardinal Peter Erdo of Hungary, Cardinal Mario Grech from Malta, Cardinal Juan José Omella of Spain, and Cardinal Pietro Parolin of Italy are also considered frontrunners to win the papal election. The decision rests with the College of Cardinals. Could the new Pope hail from Asia? The world awaits.
Well, Reform UK leader Nigel Farage has as much chance of becoming the next UK Prime Minister as the current UK PM Keir Starmer. According to a poll conducted by the UK think tank More in Common, Britishers think that both Farage and Starmer are in joint pole position to enter Downing Street in 2029, underlining the growing popularity amidst the UK public for the right-wing Reform UK party. Another interesting fact that came out in the poll was that only 5% of Britishers believe that Kemi Badenoch, the leader of the Conservative Party, will become the next UK PM. In comparison, 13% of Britishers felt that both Starmer and Farage will become the UK PM in 4 years' time. The survey was conducted just weeks before local elections are to be held across the United Kingdom on May 1st. Reform UK has been consistently polling at over 20% of the national vote this year, pushing the Conservative Party into third place. In fact, a survey in January showed Labour and Reform UK neck and neck. While the Conservatives trailed behind, political experts said that the latest survey highlights the uncertainty looming amidst the UK voters. Well, in last year's election, the Labour Party won a massive landslide, winning 411 out of the 650 seats. But since then, UK has been grappling with major economic challenges, while Starmer and his party have dealt with several controversies, and that seems to have an impact on the UK voters. With only 14% believing that the Labour Party will form a majority government after the next election, while 12% think that it will be the Reform UK Party and 11% anticipate it would be a Reform UK Conservative Party coalition. 41% of the voters simply did not know what the next elected government could look like. The poll, which surveyed over 16,000 voters, also highlighted that Reform UK would win 180 seats, with the Conservative and Labour on 165 seats each. And reacting to the polls, in a post on X, Farage said that Reform UK, and I'm quoting here, all the momentum. So the question remains, will Nigel Farage be the next UK PM, or will Keir Starmer get re-elected? At this moment, it is too close to tell.